From the Supreme Court to Main Street, the tariff decision reshapes commerce.
Main Street verdict.
The Supreme Court just tried to kneecap Trump's tariff strategy, but here's what they didn't expect. The Trump administration was already 3 steps ahead. While Democrats celebrate what they think is a victory, Treasury Secretary Bessent just dropped a bombshell that changes everything. You see, the left thought they had Trump cornered, but wait until you hear how he's about to flip the entire situation. See, this is not just about trade policy. This is about whether America can protect its own workers and industries from foreign manipulation. For decades, globalist politicians sold out American manufacturing to China and other countries. You see, Trump's tariffs brought jobs back home and generated billions in revenue. Now, the establishment thinks that one Supreme Court ruling is going to stop the America First agenda. But here's what this means for you. See, if Trump can secure fair trade deals, your job could be next to go overseas if he can't do it. If we can't reshore critical industries, we'll be dependent on hostile nations for everything from medicine to technology, and the political implications are massive. This is Trump proving he can outmaneuver every obstacle the swamp throws at him. Now, speaking of fighting back against the system, I do need to share something that's personal about overcoming challenges. You see, for years, my wife battled chronic pain and anxiety from her diagnosis, endless doctor's visits, treatments that failed. Watching her struggle daily, it broke my heart. The medical establishment kept pushing expensive solutions that didn't work. Then Jonathan Otto introduced us to red light therapy, and everything changed. Her pain vanished, anxiety lifted completely. It's not some pharmaceutical scam. This is actually NASA-developed technology, and it heals at the cellular level. Just like Trump fights the swamp, we had to fight the medical industrial complex, and red light therapy works when traditional medicine fails. So visit our sponsors, myredlight.com, and discover the healing power they do not want you to know about, and use code NNN for deep discounts. It's linked below. And just like that breakthrough changed our lives, Trump's tariff strategy is about to change America's economic future. Now here's the twist the mainstream media won't tell you. You see, Bessent just announced that tariff revenue won't drop by even $1. And how is that possible when the Supreme Court supposedly blocked Trump's emergency powers? See, the answer reveals that Trump's brilliant 4D chess move is in play. While his opponents thought they were winning, Trump's team was already implementing Section 122 tariffs to replace the emergency ones. Trade deals covering 40% of American goods remain intact. Here's the Treasury Secretary on the Supreme Court ruling.
Today was at a loss for the American people because by taking away President Trump's instantaneous leverage using the IEPA authority, the American people have suffered a significant setback. Think to this time last year when President Trump put on the fentanyl tariffs against Mexico, Canada, China for the precursor chemicals, and then we saw a rapid decline in fentanyl deaths. If that's not an emergency authority, what was? On October 8th, when the Chinese government said that they were going to put a worldwide export control on any product that had 0.01% Chinese rare earths in it, 24 hours later, President Trump said that he would impose a 100% tariff on China if they did it. They immediately came to the negotiating table, and we were able to negotiate a 1-year extension. So in terms of the direction of travel, national security, how we will get there with these deals, nothing has changed. But what has changed, the Supreme Court has taken away the president's leverage, but in a way, they have made the leverage that he has more draconian because they agreed he does have the right to a full embargo.
He has a right to a full embargo. Oh, you got to love it, right? Oh, yes. Bessent is calling this a setback, but watch how quickly the administration pivots to their backup plan. Here is Stephen Miller, one of my favorites in the administration.
Justice Thomas said so brilliantly and eloquently, the language of the statute is clear. Under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, the president has the authority to regulate foreign trade. And going back to the founding of our country, the term regulate has always meant and included the power to levy duties. But here's the good news, Laura. As cowardly as horrendous as the Supreme Court ruling was, as poorly as it reflects on John Roberts' court and the continued torturing of our statutes and our Constitution, here's the good news. The court also affirmed the president has the authority under Section 301, Section 232, Section 122, Section 338, and many other provisions of federal law that the president can levy tariffs on foreign nations. So his program will not only be fully reconstituted, but it will be expanded. And one more point, Laura. The Supreme Court also affirmed that under IEEPA, the president has authority to restrict, impede, deny, license, or even fully embargo any foreign trade. So the net result of all of this is we're going to keep and grow the tariffs to bring back American manufacturing, which keeps prices low by incentivizing products to be made here in America. But it also means that President Trump has even more tools when it comes to dealing with foreign countries that undermine our security.
Checkmate. Oh, yes. Stephen Miller's framing of this actually strengthens Trump's position. Here's how they're spinning the loss into a win. President Trump, those members of the Supreme Court who voted against our very acceptable and proper method of tariffs should be ashamed of themselves. Their decision was ridiculous, but now the adjustment process begins, and we'll do everything possible to take even more money than we're taking in than before. President Trump reacting, and Scott Bessent also going on CNN to discuss the tariffs even more.
I want to point to what we're doing. The president, the administration remains undeterred in reshoring American factories and getting rid of these massive trade imbalances. That's the big story here, is that we are immediately going to go to Section 122 tariffs, and that the revenue for the U.S. Treasury for 2026, the projections are unchanged.
Unchanged projections. Yeah. A little bit of a roadblock, and President Trump drives right through it. Bessent is emphasizing continuity. They want everyone to know the money keeps flowing despite the court ruling. Here's more from the Treasury Secretary with Dana Bash.
This 122 authority is good for 150 days. During that time, we will do study on Section 232, which will be done by Commerce Department, Section 301, which will be done by USTR. Those tariffs remain in effect and have withstood more than 4,000 challenges since the president's first term. So during that time, it is very likely that those studies will result in higher 232s, higher 301s, and it will get us back to the same tariff level. We've been in touch with our foreign trading partners, and all of them want to keep the trade deals that have been set. Dana, we've had great economic results over the past year. 4.1% second quarter GDP, 4.3, 4.4 in the third quarter, and it would have been a very strong fourth quarter if the Democrats hadn't shut down the government to hurt the American people.
Oh, the games are just beginning, my friends. If you haven't done so yet, text raw feed to 844-840-4963. That's our new text message system. Be the first to know when we go live, never miss a show or an update. Secretary Bessent's telegraphing that foreign partners are cooperating, but let's hear what top trade representative says about those same deals. Ambassador Greer
spoke with my counterpart from the EU this weekend. I have a call that I'm going to have with others. I spoke to my counterparts in other countries. And so the deals were not premised on whether or not the emergency tariff litigation would rise or fall. They weren't premised on that. And so it's totally normal for these countries to talk to each other, have meetings internally to determine this. But rest assured, I've been speaking to these folks as well. And I've been telling them for a year, whether this case, whether we won or lost, we were going to have tariffs. The president's policy was going to continue. That's why they signed these deals, even while the litigation was pending. So we're having active conversations with them. We want them to understand that these deals are going to be good deals. We expect to stand by them. We expect our partners to stand by them. And I haven't heard anyone yet come to me and say the deal's off. They want to see how this plays out. I'm in active conversation with them on it.
Remember Liberation Day? Back in April last year when this all began? Yeah, they tried to derail it, but no. Ambassador Greer is backing up Bessent's claim that partners will honor existing agreements despite the legal setback. So even they all signed tariff agreements. So the Supreme Court ruling doesn't even matter. Now, Bessent is promising seamless transition to new tariff authority in just 3 days, and now watch the official policy, how it reflects the confidence.
Bessent and myself, we've established strong relationships with our counterparts. Our deals were not premised on whether or not this case remains in place or not. As you mentioned, we have a variety of tools.
Variety of tools in place. Nothing's going to stop the Trump agenda. Trade rep doubling down on the hard numbers and specific benefits. This is their closing argument that tariffs work regardless of court rulings.
One, I've heard from a lot of Republicans over the past year, ones who traditionally, weren't always in favor of tariffs. They've now come around and they said, one, we've seen this as effective to negotiate deals. Two, we've seen it's effective to reshore. And three, it's real money coming in. And so I've heard from folks all over the spectrum. And I have to point out, too, we did get one Democrat voting in favor of the tariffs as well. And the Republicans who voted against the president, they vote against him on everything. These are people who are either in the doghouse or on the way out. So it's not really representative of where the party is.
Well, one of them.
You see, this is the moment you realize Trump didn't just survive the Supreme Court challenge. He used it to strengthen his position. The establishment threw their best legal shot at dismantling America First trade policy, and Trump turned it into an opportunity. Foreign partners are scrambling to maintain their deals because they know Trump still holds all the cards, including full embargo powers. You see, the deep state thought they could use the courts to stop Trump's economic nationalism. Instead, they proved that Trump's team is always thinking several moves ahead. While Democrats celebrated the victory, Trump secured America's trade future through multiple legal pathways. See, this is what winning looks like, turning every attack into an advantage, every obstacle into an opportunity. The tariff revenue keeps flowing, jobs keep coming back, and America keeps winning. The swamp will never learn that you can't outmaneuver a master negotiator. So do you think that Trump's ability to adapt his tariff strategy proves he's the only leader who can take on the globalist establishment? Check out the next News Merch Shop to show your support for America First policies.
The system controls information. Information control is power. I don't want you to see this. The truth only survives together. They don't want this shared. Share this now.